What's up, guys? This is Natalie with Video Game Design at You Code It, and I'm kicking off our first Twitch cast broadcast live. I'm going to hang out here and see if anyone joins before I get started talking about the digital game making challenge we're kicking off. Since we're all doing exclusively online education as of earlier this month. So just hang on for a second, and I'm going to just see if we're joined by folks in the chat. If you're joining in, say hi in the chat. Just give me a little wave. It would be great to talk to you and know you're here. I'm just hanging out. I will probably start talking about the plan a little after 4 o'clock. So just hanging out here. This is my social distancing setup. So you can see I have a beautiful at-home studio here where I make games. I've got my in the background here, a gorilla with a little banana sitting on the shelf joining me. I don't even know what else is back there, honestly. It's just a collection of junk, really. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna probably talk a little bit about the game making challenge, and then I will go on to play some short free games that include aspects of inspiration for the game making challenge that we're proposing for the next, I'd say, like the next month ish. It's gonna be due on April 30th, but again, I'll get into that a little bit more after 4 o'clock. So yeah, again, if you're just joining, say hi in the chat. Let me know you're here. You can always just kick back and watch. This is the Natalie show for the next hour or so. Probably won't be here for more than an hour. Normally when we're together in person, we all hang out and make games and just chill at the classroom. So, that time is something you can do on your own. These videos are going to be just long enough for me to tell you what's up. And then you can make games anytime, depending on what you've decided to work on, how much time you want to spend, the other classes you're working on, your homework, whatever it is. But once again, this stream is specifically for folks who are part of our youth game making studio at You Code It in Montclair, New Jersey. So if you're a student at that studio, you should definitely say hi and let me know you're here. And otherwise, just check out what I say in the next, 30, 45 minutes if you want to keep on top of the great game making education we've got for you guys. Cool. So just gonna hang out here for a few more minutes, see if we get anybody else here before I actually start talking. I'm expecting at least a couple people to log on and figure out how Twitch is running. Hey, if you're joining, just say hi in the chat. Let me know you're here. I'm gonna hang out just a few more minutes. Hi, Haley. Welcome. I think earlier I was saying I would start at 4, but of course this actually starts at 7. It's 7 o'clock, not 4 o'clock. Teach my other class on Mondays and Wednesdays at 4. As always, if you're here, you can chat at me, ask questions, make comments throughout the broadcast, and I'll do my best to make everything as absolutely crystal clear as possible. But awesome. So yeah, just gonna hang out for a few more minutes. I see another person's joined us. I think I know who that is. Definitely not too many people here who have gaming laptops, but I know at least one student in our studio that does. So good to see you. And yeah, I'm really excited about making games online with you guys. This is going to be a really different format from what we normally do in the studio. So just thinking about, ways that we can work together and continue to make progress on learning how to do game making and game development, and also continue to be connected during this time when we're all in our own houses. Um, one of the brilliant things about making video games is video games are really for this situation. We need this kind of entertainment when we're locked inside and need something to give us a way to escape. And it's really exciting to me that we all work together on a form of art that allows people to do that. Um, I'm seeing in the chat a question about professional companies working from home. And yes, definitely, there are many companies, including the company I work at, Eline Media, works remotely. And typically, if you're on a professional game development team, you would be using a project management and communication tool like Slack. At Eline, we also use Google Hangouts to do video chat. And of course, everybody knows that we're using Zoom everywhere now at all companies to work from home. But one of the nice things about game development is you really can do a lot of it by yourself. Um, I was watching a video recently about a game developer who worked with someone in another country on a game jam. And I think I've talked to you guys about game jams before. It's like a weekend challenge to make a game in only about 2.5, 3 days. And this guy had a video about this whole game jam that he did. And there was a guy there who totally from some other country did all of the 3D modeling for his game and then he did all of the physics and the programming. So that guy, the artist, spent the whole weekend making props for the scene, making an avatar and animating it. And then the programmer, who was the one who made the video, created a little like sphere physics. The game was like about like a really tiny planet, kind of walking around this planet. And then once the guy's avatar was ready, he sends it to him through Unity, just like we do. So it's very possible to collaborate without being in the same room. And hopefully we'll be able to do a little of that as we move forward with the digital version of Game Builder class. It's going to be different. We won't be able to all sit together. Just checking out what you guys are talking about in the chat here. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm reading some stuff here about the technical requirements of, say, running Unity or running maybe a high performance video game. Definitely something that's a concern for anybody that wants to do game development at home. In fact, with that in mind, I will actually get started in talking about what our plan is going to be, because we're going to change the format for Game Builder class here based on the fact that some of us don't have high powered gaming laptops or gaming desktops at home. And some people might be able to run Unity. Other people may only have a cell phone or have a smaller computer that's not as powerful as the ones we use in class. So from today onward, we will continue making games, but we will be making games in a way that everybody can participate. Everybody can participate. So I'm going to talk about the plan going forward with that. And again, if you're just joining, welcome. This is You Code It Game Builder class online. And I am going to actually get started as of now. We're about 5 minutes after 7. I see there's a few people who've joined in here, so let's go. So just officially to start, I want to recap that over the past weeks, our team has been working on a first-person wave survival game. We were working on this game and focusing, of course, all together on coding and programming and doing enemy design. So the idea was for us to take a break from some of the work we'd done in the past, which was very much towards environment design and level design, and move into doing some of the coding and game systems development that is really, really key to making good video games. And honestly, I had been really impressed with a lot of the work that everybody's been putting in on learning the difficult art of coding in C#, thinking through how these enemies are supposed to work. Awesome. Looking in the chat here, I see that Haley's saying Greg is joining soon. Would be so fantastic to have all of the team members in here. So, we put out just a super impressive effort towards making this whole thing happen. And I was just so sad that we had to stop in the middle on that project. But the cool thing about it is we get to do a new project that's online only, and it's going to be, I think, a really exciting theme for the kinds of games that we're going to make. So the plan from now is we're going to put the first person survival game on hold because it's a technically complicated, collaborative project, and it's a perfect project for us to do in person, but difficult for us to do online. It's going to be more difficult for us to collaborate because we all have to coordinate. We don't have Slack. And it's also technically complicated, which means if you hit a roadblock and I'm not right there to help you troubleshoot, it's going to take much longer for you to figure out the answer to sometimes what are really difficult questions. We all know I don't always know what's wrong with your game when it breaks. That's how Unity is. So we're switching gears. We have a new game making challenge. And if you check this out, I'm going to switch the screen here to a description of the new project. If you want to review this after the broadcast is over, we'll be sure and share the link to this. You can see the URL on the screen, but typing that URL into your own browser might be too tall of an order for most ordinary humans. So after the broadcast, we'll share the link to this a sort of description of what the plan is going to be going forward. But I'll talk about it now too. And if you're watching, just listen and we'll make sure you have all your questions answered about this. So don't worry if you feel like you missed something, because we're just here. We're all just sitting at home working on video games. So you can always email, and it's just going to be something that is ongoing from now. So we're setting aside our first-person survival shooter, and we're moving on towards a digital game-making challenge that has a theme. So in the past, we have done game making, which starts with a genre of game. And when I say genre, what I mean is we start out by saying we want to make a rhythm game, or we start out saying we want to make a racing game, or we say we want to make a first-person game, or we say we want to make a 2D game. That's like saying we start with genre. We decide the kind of game we want to make, and then we implement that. So that's always been our pattern in person. But now we're going to switch gears, and we're starting not with a genre, we're starting with a theme. So the cool thing about this is as long as your game fits the theme, you can make any kind of game you want. So if you want to make a 2D game, you want to make a 3D game, first person, third person, you can do it. But your game has to fit the theme of alone together. Alone together is the theme for this game making challenge. And this is in the spirit of game jams that also give themes. So we're thinking of like at the Global Game Jam, which is done by game makers all over the world. They do themes like home and transmission. Those were two that I actually participated in and made games for myself. I'm trying to remember what the one was for 2020. I didn't go to that one, so I don't quite remember what it was, but it's always like one word and it's like this big idea. Check in the chat. Okay. Hey, I see Haley saying Greg's here. Welcome to the broadcast, Greg. So glad to see you joining us. So our theme is Alone Together. And what that means is we are talking about the feeling of being isolated and also having companionship. In the spirit of the fact that we are all isolated right now, we can't all be together. But there are other ways that we find connection and community despite being far away. So I'm actually going to give some examples of this in just a minute. There's lots of ways you could do this. But what I want you to think about is what would be a game mechanic that articulates a feeling of being alone or being isolated, the world as it is right now. What is a game mechanic that reflects the things we have to deal with in our ordinary life? That's the question I want you to answer. So again, I'm actually going to give some examples of this. I have 3 games to show you that will give a few concrete examples of mechanics that reflect this idea. But anything that comes to mind for you, I'm super excited for you to try. This is really open to whatever your creativity wants you to try out. Something that's really important here is, because everybody has different computers and different situations at home, we want you to make a game with you. That is our preference. That is the explicit goal of this class, is to learn Unity development. However, if you can't install and run Unity at home, you are encouraged to continue to participate by making a game in another platform. So your goal here is first try to get Unity. Make an effort to get it installed, figure out if it fits on your computer, if your computer can run it. If you know it's not going to happen, you have an option to do a GameStar mechanic game. You can do a game in Scratch, or you can use another platform of your choice. In fact, if you guys have game making platforms that you really like, feel free to throw some links or recommendations in the chat. And we can all check those out as the broadcast goes on. There's a lot of good ones. Especially if you're newer to game making and you're worried you're going to break Unity, you can always use something that's simple and browser based, like GameStar Mechanic and Scratch, and you'll know you're going to make something good by April 30th. And yes, the deadline for this is April 30th. That's only a month. So you don't have a ton of time here. This is not going to be a massive AAA title. I want you to implement one mechanic, one thing that makes this a game. As long as you're responding to the theme, you can make whatever you desire. So this creative slate is really open. So let's just keep thinking about that. And again, if you have ideas, recommendations, questions, put them in the chat. I'm taking a look at that, and I'll definitely give you my thoughts if you have proposals or just like things you're thinking about this. I'm looking in the chat now. It actually depends on the game. I'm curious what you mean by that. It actually depends on the game. So yeah, if you could elaborate on that a little bit there in the chat, if that's about game making platforms. Yep, I'm reading this now, and it says, if the game isn't complicated, you can literally use your parents' laptop. Most of them can run Unity, and I would respond to that by saying yes. Unity is not that intensive. What'll often become a limitation for you is space. Some games are really big, and it's easy to download huge assets, and then you'll end up taking up all of the hard drive space. But most computers can do Unity. It's not super complicated for a computer to run the software. So yes, and in that vein, on the following class to this, so next week on Tuesday, I will actually show you on this broadcast how to install Unity and create a project of your own. So that's on the slate for next week. And in the meantime, after this broadcast, I'm actually going to share with you some detailed instructions for installing Unity. So we're definitely going to help you get that installed if it's something you want to work on. It takes a few steps. It's not trivial. You really have to go get the software and pick your Unity version, but it's definitely not impossible. If you've installed something like Microsoft Word, or a video game on your computer, you can install Unity. And we'll get you guys set up and working on a project. So between this week and next week, I'm going to be trying to find out where people are at. I know some of you guys definitely want to work on Unity because you have laptops. Right, yeah, I'm reading the chat right now, and I see Haley saying a lot of people have their laptop from Game Builder class. Okay, it looks like everybody has it. And Francis also has his computer that he runs Unity on normally. So great. You guys will have it already installed on your computer, and I won't even need to give you a tutorial. That's excellent. All right. Well, with that in mind, before I launch into some of the games that I'm using as inspiration for mechanics about Alone Together, I wanted to just put you guys to think about, generally, what kind of thing do you want to do? What do you want to work on? Is there something specific that you want to make? Generally, for this challenge, we're asking people 2 questions. I'm going to scroll down here. This is our general kind of communication plan. I want to just briefly hear from you on email. You all have email addresses, and it's going to be helpful if you're able to use your Gmail address to let me know. You think you can do Unity at home is yes, because everyone has the laptop. And then, do you want to work team or solo? So it is still possible to collaborate online, and that is an option that's open to you. I generally think in the case of this particular studio, we've got people with really different creative visions here, and also different levels of Unity experience. So my tendency is to think you guys will probably want to work on your own, but just let me know where you're at with team or solo. Do you want to collaborate or do you want to work on your own? And once I hear from you, I'll know you're in, you're committed, and I'll know that you're feeling good about a team or a solo game. This is also your opportunity to email me if you have technical difficulties with the laptop. So if you're having problems getting set up, you can email this email address and I will try to help you troubleshoot. I'm available to do that by doing a live cast here on Twitch outside class time. I can email you instructions on doing things if you explain what's going wrong. However, you should be able to double click on Unity Hub on the desktop like we normally do. And then next week, since I don't need to show you how to install Unity, I will show you how to create a new project. Super easy to create a new project. You just click on projects and go to new, but I'll show you exactly how to do that next week. And the other thing we can do next week is I will show you how to add me as a collaborator on your project. And that'll allow me to download your game and help you work on it outside of class whenever you're doing things during the week. I may not put a lot of effort in every day, but if something's broken, I can pull your game and try to figure out what's wrong. So it'll be great if you're able to add me as a collaborator on your Unity project. And we'll do that next week. So that's the plan right now for this. Just reach out to me and let me know you're in. And start thinking about the kind of game you would want to make for the theme of Alone Together. Checking the chat. More graphics intensive. You can do so. There's a question I'm seeing here that says, will there be any time when we might start to make a bit more graphics intensive games in the future? You can make a graphics intensive game now. I mean, with this theme, it's really open. If you want to do something that's really high res, and if you want to make some assets for it that are high res, this is totally your moment. Like I've said before, in the past, we've kind of limited it. So when we said, oh, we have to make a golf game, right? But in this situation, you don't have to make the same game that everyone else is doing. You can do your own game. So this is the chance to run something to make something intensive. If you can run it on your computer, I'm totally on board. And most of us should be able to play it when it's got a playable build, since we all have these laptops that we're using at home. So I'd invite people to really just, whatever you're excited about doing with Unity, do it right now. So let's continue on here. I'm going to go show you guys some examples of games. And in this document, we've got 3 reference games providing inspiration for mechanics. Once this document is shared to you guys, you'll be able to just click on these links and play the games for yourselves. They are all free and available on itch.io. So clicking on these links will take you to the page to download them. And I'm going to show you a little bit of gameplay from each of these 3 games now. And while I'm playing, you can watch me play, and I will talk about why I think these games have mechanics related to Alone Together. So hold while I bring up the first one. I think I'm going to start with Pizza Crash first. So let me open up Pizza Crash for us. Cool. All right. So here we are. This is I would say this is a fairly basic game made in Unity. We've got some 3D assets here. We've got some very basic UI. And the idea in this game is it's if you've ever seen Crazy Taxi, it's kind of like that. It's a delivery game. Pick up and deliver. So I'm going to click on Industrial here, and I'm going to click New Game. All right. So as you can see, I don't have that much time, and running through the pizza pickup, I'm getting pizzas, and then I've got arrows that let me, okay, so that one's complete. So yeah, you can see that, there's my second delivery. I'm gonna steer right over here. Oh, but I don't have pizzas, so I have to turn around. All right. Oh, I did have one pizza. Oh my God. So we all know what that problem is. They did not put a collider at the edge of the map. Cool. All right, let's restart that. I definitely had no idea that they didn't have an edge at the end of their game, so let me rerun that real quick for you. Okay. All right, picking up some pizza. I'm going to go in the direction of one of these yellow arrows and try to drop it off. Looks like I need to turn left here. Yep. Where is it? There's one ahead. Try not to drive off the map this time. Oh my gosh, there it is. Ah! Okay. I'm not going to panic. I'm just going to back up. Oh, no. What? Oh, I'm out of pizzas. Okay. All right, I'm going to go back. This thing is super hard to control, which is, of course, the point of these kinds of games. Any game like this, you know, you're going to really just introduce challenge and fun by making the car, like, literally impossible to drive. Oh, there's my pickup. Oh, I'm going too fast. Okay, backing up here. All right. Well, oh my gosh. Okay, let's see who else I can find here. Yeah, uh-oh. Got a rogue hot dog truck chasing me. Alright, these things are bad. So let's get back to get some more pizza before it's too late. I have literally like 10 seconds, but maybe I can do one more delivery. Alright, yeah. I'm gonna get away from those guys. Stop! Oh my gosh. Oh, I know I can get this delivery. Oh, he's gonna push me in there. Yes. Alright, cool. Now I'm really in trouble. No, why are you so mean? Flip me back over. Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, man, that was solid. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Oh, loser. You're a loser. Are you feeling sorry for yourself? Well, you should, because you're dirt. Okay, well, that's a pretty mean way to end a game. So, all right, so here's the deal with this one. This is a very basic project, and I would not recommend insulting your player at the end by saying you're dirt if you lose. But yeah, so just like seeing in the chat, you're saying, so it's a game that insults you for losing. Yes, I think it is. But of course, that's just something they wrote in the UI for the end. And what I'm thinking is this game reminds me of Alone Together, because right now, especially in New York City, but I really think everywhere, we've started to really rely on delivery people. It's way more important delivery than it's ever been at this moment in time. And our delivery workers are really strained and really the focus of a lot of news. And so I was thinking a delivery game would be a great mechanic to address the situation of being alone together in a global pandemic. Maybe not pizza, but you could pick any object that you're picking up and delivering for a game like this. So you could do toilet paper, whatever you're thinking. But the idea of taking one thing from one place to another, this could be a car taking pizzas or toilet paper or whatever food, or you could actually do it with a third person avatar who picks things up, walks over here and drops things off, like a food delivery person on a bike, for example. Yeah, I'm reading here. Racing games could work because of the fact that the roads would be empty. That would be hilarious. That would be hilarious to do a racing game where it's like, where is everything? I think that's a super funny idea. I'm loving some of the stuff that's coming through here. So one of the things that goes along with this delivery game too is there is a really great car controller that you can download that's provided by Unity, and it works out of the box. So it actually comes in the standard assets pack for that Unity provides on the asset store. And if you download the standard assets, it's in I think it's in the characters folder. It's a player controller avatar setup with a car. So this is going to be a really great project if you want to do something with cars, because we have a car we can start out with, start making the car look the way we want it to, and then also add game mechanics around picking up and dropping off. Of course, we'll have to spawn the thing that you're picking up, and then when you go to the drop-off location, we'll have to destroy the object and mark that your delivery was successful. So absolutely something that I think really fits with this alone together theme. And I also think that it's really kind of fun and wacky and challenging. And I was seeing earlier in the chat the notion that insulting people or making a game hard actually makes people play more. And there's a line you can walk with that where you don't want it to be too hard. But I will say that there is a whole genre of games around wacky, hard to control, really, really hard, goofy games. And this pizza game is definitely in that category. So you guys should check it out, play it, see if you're good at it. I am terrible at games like this. I always overcorrect when I move the arrows. But it's definitely an option for you guys to work on. Let's see. I'm seeing here. What is this saying in the chat? My account is signed out and I don't remember the password. Can you email it to my mom? That is no problem. We will get that done after the broadcast today. And as always, thanks out to Haley, who is our chat moderator and can help you, in fact, during this while I'm just talking about video games as well. So I am going to actually go on to the next game. But no more Pizza Crash. The next game is a totally different game called My Doll's House. So let me pull that one up. Yeah, just one thing I wanted to say in response to the exchange going on right now. I believe I have a picture that I took with my cell phone of Christian's password. So if we need to get the Gmail account logged in, I might be able to make that happen before it's necessary to go back to Ucode for you, Haley. So don't run over there yet. I'll check to see if I can find that in my Google Photos. Yep, we're gonna get everybody set up. So if you're having login issues, anything like that, touch base with us and we will definitely get you on the right track. I will say this is a totally minor thing, but Greg, I hope your Gmail is logged in because I think the only person that knows the password to that one is Ali. I don't have the password for Greg's. Yes, so this next game is 100% a horror game. Don't worry, there's not going to be any jump scares. It's not bloody. It's an atmospheric first-person game with really creepy audio design. I'm not going to play the whole game. I'm just going to give you guys a quick little taste of what this was like, and then we'll talk about how it fits the theme. Right. So find the furniture, mouse L to hold the furniture. We've got like a really creepy looking dollhouse in here. I can walk through it, so some sort of weird reality for sure. Maybe I don't really have a collider on me, but it's pretty cool that it started out with that camera animation. And if you did the golf game, oh, that's creepy. if you did the golf game, you know how to animate stuff in Unity, and the camera is one of the things you can animate same way. So I'm going to take this couch back here and just sort of throw it in. Okay. I'm not doing a good job of interior decorating, but let's see what else we can find. And you guys can hear the sounds, I think, so this one really creepy. Ooh! Every time. Gets me every time. I'm gonna see if I can pick this guy up. Come on, chair. I picked you up. I'm having trouble picking up the chair. See if I come at it with this angle. There we go. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna run back here. I'm just clicking on the furniture and holding down to carry it, and then when I get to the house, I just release it there. We've got a light that kind of comes on and goes. Let's see what else is there. Okay, that's where the couch was. Yikes. Let's put this here. Awesome. I see one more. Oh, I see two more. Let's get both of these. I'm gonna grab this chair. Whee! Of course, that is a thing you can do. I don't know if that's probably ill-advised because now I have to go pick it up, but I can't help but experiment. Alright, let's grab this guy. Go. And right there. And I'm gonna grab one more. I don't want to spoil the ending, so just gonna get one more. Which I think there's something here. So yeah, the vibe I'm thinking with this one is that's not furniture. Man, this is scary. Obviously it's a horror game, right? And we've got some fog and some lighting and just some creepy stuff going on in here. And what I was thinking for this with the theme of Alone Together is if you wanted to do something on the creepier side, you know, if you like the idea of a haunted house or something kind of unsettling, I really like the fact that this creates a horror-esque environment around furniture and the interior of a house. So this one doesn't use like zombies popping up to freak you out. It uses sound and this really simple mechanic of picking up objects and putting them down. So the game design in this is pretty limited, right? Like the only thing I would have to script here is making it so I can grab objects and put them in the house. And then the experience is really dictated by like this music and the stuff I'm hearing right now, and those effects when I get near the furniture of the light turning on. Literally the only other thing here is that 5 of 7 that I see on the screen. So I'm going to leave it at 5 of 7. And just let you guys play it. It's just a good example of taking some really basic components and putting them together into a game that's really compelling. If you don't like horror, you know, don't do horror. You know, if it gives you bad dreams, just write it off. But you know, it's just going to be a fun avenue to go down if you're thinking on this theme of aloneness and isolation. You want to do something about like being inside a house. You know, the point is you don't have to do all this enemy design and create zombies running at you to make it scary or make it interesting. And the other thing I thought is if you wanted to do a less like creepy take, you could also do a game that was like a nice interior design game where you just like put furniture in rooms and the atmosphere is more happy. I can imagine like a house game where you're inside, but then you have to like organize it to be like comfortable in there. Or here's an idea I just had, you know, say you're inside, but then like clicking on certain objects like takes you into another scene that's like a fantasy realm, you know, all kinds of possibilities once you set up the inside of a house. So my doll's house is your inspiration to do a mechanic of picking up and putting down objects inside a house. All right, so that's 2 of 3. I have one more for you guys, and the final one is a game called Dante's Infernia. Let's get Dante's Infernia running. All right, here I am. So this game, our third and final game, this one's a little bit more polished than the other two. And it, you know, saying it's polished, but this to me is a plausible game that I can actually imagine seeing someone at one of our studios producing. So we're not talking about a AAA title here. We're talking about a reasonably sized, well-made game. So this game is about a guy and a cat. And you play as the cat. I'm going to pick level 2, I guess. Level 2 is fun. And your goal as the cat is to mess things up in the guy's apartment. So we've got a very, very neat looking avatar here. So watch out for this cat. So you can see as I knock things over, I get little +1s. And the score for what I've done in the room is in the upper left. So I've got resettable items, which that guy will actually reset. But he's mad now. You can see his red bar. And when he's mad, he's going to try to come get me and put me in fists. So I have to be careful not to let him catch me and to continue knocking things off of the shelves. So I'm going to get this guy's Rubik's Cube collection messed up here in this bedroom. Look at this. And let's see here. Got a fun mechanic. So if I hit shift and like sort of pan the mouse and then release, a stuffed cat, I can jump high. So I have a little jump, which is just hitting the space bar. And then if I hit shift and then release, I can jump really high. And that is very satisfying because I just jumped over that guy's head and he definitely will not be able to get me. Ah! Ooh, I hope I don't take damage if I fall off the claw. Here this is. Oh! He's never gonna get me. Scratch, scratch, scratch! It's very satisfying. I love that the cat also will kind of like hang on the shelves and stuff. If you kind of land on the edge, the cat grabs on. Very nice. Oh yes, get out of the sink. Okay, let's get this teapot. Ha! You thought you were so smart. Okay, get these, get the toaster. And it looks like I've got 6 of 12 breakable items, so there's still 6 things I need to break in here. Oh no, there he is. I gotta get away from that guy. Nuts. What else is there in here that I can break? No! Oh my gosh, I almost got caught. Oh no. Oh! Yes, I'm gonna make this if I turn the light off. Ah, yes! Alright. So I've broken one more thing. Looks like the breakable items have like an outline. Yeah, it does. Okay, these are breakable. Yes! So close. Oh no, he caught me! But I can struggle to get out. Ah ha ha! You'll never catch me. So he almost got me in that little cat carrier, but now I'm gonna run away and he'll never catch me. Ha! You thought you had me, but you didn't. Alright. Here's one of my breakables. That looks like a glass. Yeah. Oh, there's another one. And there's my fine. All right. Ha. 12 of 12. Gosh, but there's 22 more resettable items. That's a lot. I guess I have to get all those plants up there. That's a lot of stuff. Anyway, let me get us up here. We'll run along this. Oh no! Oh no, I messed up! Alright, so this is what happens when he catches you. I won't struggle this time. I'm not struggling. He puts you in. Game over. So here's my score. I get objects destroyed, objects knocked over. This is a nice game. I think it's really funny, and I think they did a really good job overall with this of just like sort of optimizing it and making it fun. The cat is really fun to control. So unlike with the Pizza Crash, I just found that one to be so annoying to control. And with this one, I'm like, I love being this cat. Yeah, I'm seeing Haley saying Dante's is my favorite so far. I think it's my favorite too. I think this one strikes a really good balance between being wacky and just plain fun. Um, and I mean, to me, this is the obvious connection between this game and Alone Together is um, like you're alone in an apartment with your cat and the cat's driving you crazy. So like that's a natural fit for this theme. And I thought it would be so fun to make a game about wreaking havoc as a cat. We actually have a professional cat, third person cat asset that we bought for a different game about a year ago. And if you guys want to make a game about wreaking havoc as a cat, um, absolutely, you can totally do a game like this and really make it your own. So again, we have this interior, but the difference with the interior in Dante's Infernia versus My Doll's House, in My Doll's House, it's a little bit nicer design, right? It's more high res. And here we have a low poly, super kind of cartoonish looking interior where the focus is to make a fun environment for the cat to run around in and jump on. The other one is a little bit more like, let's make it look kind of realistic and kind of creepy to give you that sense of like impending threat. Totally different mentality of building a building game. So I love Dante's Infernia. I would love to see people make games like this, but the cool thing is with this game making challenge, you can do whatever you want. So I would honestly say, even if you're like watching this and you're like, I want to make something else. I don't even want to do Alone Together. I want to make something totally different. Um, you should still make a game, do the game you want to do, and submit it for the April 30th deadline. That is because after that deadline, we will be doing a digital showcase. So that showcase will include games from our New York studio. It will include games from this studio. We're sharing this with the developers at Eline Media and inviting them to make games for this challenge. It's really open to anybody that wants to participate. And if you do make a game that doesn't fit the theme, we will still showcase it. We'll have a category called Other Games, and you'll absolutely be able to get feedback and play testing and just people to enjoy what you made. So you're definitely invited to be inspired by whatever you're interested in. That said, if you do make a game that fits the theme, you're up for prizes. And we will be voting on the best solo game as well as the best team game. So you can compete in both categories. And then we have Unity and other platforms as categories in that showcase competition as well. So the biggest prizes are obviously to folks who do make games for the theme. We don't know what the prizes are yet, but there definitely will be prizes as always. And we want people to be creative with that theme. So if one of these three mechanics appeals to you, strongly consider doing one of these, because in the future broadcasts on Tuesdays at 7, I'm going to be showing you how to get your Unity project set up. And then we'll go through how you would actually create some of these mechanics in your own version, in your own Unity project. So we'll talk about doing delivery and pickup with a car. We'll talk about picking up objects in a first person and putting them down. And then we'll talk about using a cat to kind of manipulate the world around you and knocking things off shelves. So those will all be things I will be teaching in the next few weeks. So what I would recommend is picking one of those and following along, because that's the stuff I'm going to be able to show you how to do. You're welcome to go off book and just do something totally different. I will answer your questions, but this is the stuff that I'm going to focus on teaching for this, because I think these are really fun, they're really doable, and they're really interesting aspects of game making. All three of these involve some really cool setups that all kinds of real games use. So I'm really excited about like exploring the implementation behind these three sort of setups. And I would love to invite you on that journey to learn along with me how to make a game like each of these three. So those are your inspiration for Alone Together. And again, from today, what you're going to want to do is think about your interest. What do you want to make? What's your general idea? If you had to pick from one of these three choices, which one would you pick? And then, make sure you can get Unity open. And in fact, if you wanted to even see if you can create a blank project, do that. Go to project, click on new, see if you can get it to open. If you find yourself there by next week, then you'll be in great shape. Don't worry about if you break it. You can always make a new one. Just play with Unity a little bit, see what you can get running, and reach out to me and email to just let me know you're in and you're working on it. I had said team or solo. I'm pretty sure the folks in this studio are going to want to do solo games, just because we're all at kind of different levels of Unity proficiency and we all have really different interests. But definitely email me just to say hey and let me know that you're good to go if you're having any Unity issues, and if you want to do a solo game or potentially work on a team. Those are your sort of marching orders from this session. Of course, we want your feedback on if you were able to watch the broadcast, if you could hear us, if you have any questions about how this is going to work. Now is the time when we're going to get those questions answered and sort of get everybody running and rolling on working on these projects. Of course, there are going to be roadblocks in using Unity without me looking over your shoulder. But my hope is that you'll take those roadblocks as a challenge to get more skills. You know, when I'm not there, it's up to you. And that's how real game developers function. They don't have a teacher with them, they just have to figure it out. And it's hard. So don't hesitate, with your parents' permission. You can Google answers to your Unity questions. Or you can write those questions down or remember them and ask me during broadcasts when I'm live, or you can email my email address and say, hey, I'm having this problem. What I won't be doing is I will not be chatting with you on the internet between classes. That's something you should be doing with your friends. But you can send emails and you can check out these Twitch broadcasts and watch the videos that are recorded of these broadcasts, which I will be posting following each session. So if I said something during one of these and you're like, oh, what was that? You can always watch the video and just skip to the part where I talked about the thing you need to know. They're long videos. It's about an hour, but it'll be there for your review in case you need it. So I want to keep this to about an hour because an hour actually is a pretty long video. And like when I watch TV, whether it's online or anywhere else, I usually want to take a break after about an hour. But before I log off, I just wanted to open, if you guys do have questions, I'm looking at the chat right now, and now is the time to type out any concerns, questions, ideas you're having. Before we bring this to a close, I'm happy to address whatever you're thinking. As far as IT goes, we're going to get all that resolved. So don't worry if you're missing a password because we should be able to get you guys logged in and ready to go. Yeah, I'm looking here. Unity Hub has tutorials. It's in tutorials section. Yep, that is right. I think I see Francis posting that, and definitely true. So if you click on tutorials, that should be one of the options on the left. You'll be able to see all kinds of fun basic stuff with teaching you how to make and set up games, just like what we do in our class. Tons of stuff available through Unity with that. And in fact, some people will even download the tutorial for a game and then it comes with resources you could build on. I don't think that we're going to be just reading here if you want to do some Ultra type of graphics. I don't think we are going to necessarily do that. I mean, everybody's using either the ROG Strix or the MSI laptops that we have at Ucodit. So we're all borrowing those right now. And I'm just going to say I like low poly games. I think this cartoonish stuff like we're seeing in Dante's Inferno is so cute. So, it's totally up to you, but I would say don't push it to the limit. Make a fun game first. Go low poly. Go low poly. And yeah, like I said, I've got that cat. I also have a dog. If anybody wants to make a version of Dante's Inferno with a dog avatar, maybe you're a dog person. I have a dog avatar. I have like a matching dog and cat avatar that would be, I think, just like so fun. That comes with a bunch of animations. So like walking, running, jumping. I don't know if it has an animation of it kicking like this cat, but I'm sure that we could figure out. I think it has a barking or some like attack thing. There's definitely an animation we could use for it to like push things off of off of a shelf. So, 100% like if you love low poly as much as I do and you want to make a game with an animal, then let me know because I have those animals for you. Yes. Okay, I'm seeing Christian saying I would do that. Way to go. That would be so awesome. We should just try to get a project going with one of these avatars in it, like a cat or a dog. I'm gonna dig those up, so I'll see if I can put together a package. Um, in fact, one thing probably next week we would want to do is I'll show you how to import a Unity package, which is like I can give you a bunch of assets just shared through email. And then when you download it, you just get whatever I put in that package for you. So it's like the asset store, but like coming from someone instead of downloading in the browser. And that's how we'll be able to share those assets. So I'm totally on board with seeing Christian do a cat or a dog game. And just looking here if anybody else has ideas at this point, toss them in the chat before we log off because I want to know what you guys are thinking. And as we're coming to the end here, I think just keeping in mind that the best way to keep up with this stuff is just to check back in here every week at 7. So if you start to get like, what am I supposed to be doing for that? And I don't know what the next step is. Just say, I'll put a pause on this and I'll join back in at 7 on Tuesdays. that's going to get you going in the right direction because I'll be here, I'll be talking, and I'll be available to help you figure stuff out. So, of course, just like with those video games, I can show Unity back here behind me, and I will absolutely show you guys how to do anything you ask me. You'll just type it in the chat and I'll do it. Yes. Okay. So Christian's saying you can do it with a bird that can fly. I would love to see that. In fact, I've seen a really fun free asset of a chick. It was so cute. It was like a low poly chick that like hops along. I would love a one with a bird. A bird would be so cool. And again, we would probably use like free camera movement, so you could like swing the camera around with the mouse and then like move the bird with the WASD. That would be so good. You could do 3D Flappy Bird. Have you guys played Flappy Bird? Oh man, Flappy Bird. That's a game. So we're thinking of Bird and Francis out there, or anybody else with ideas yet on what kind of game you guys want to do? It's okay if no, you guys kind of have a week to think about this and just to kind of process, make sure you've all got everything set up correctly. One thing we do recommend is to keep your project on the Unity version we've already been using at the YouCodeIt studio. So you're using 2019.1.2, which is the one we were using for our most recent game. So that goes out to Francis, for example. If you have the most recent version of Unity on your computer, it's going to be easier for me if you use 2019.1.2 and not 2019.3. If you do use 3, I can deal, but I would prefer that we all stay on that same version. It's on your computer. I don't think there's other versions, but let's try to keep it that way. So no necessity to keep Unity on the latest version. All right. So last chance before I log off. Looks like everybody's been chatting and letting me know what they're thinking, but we're at a stop here since I'm not playing any more exciting games. But stay in touch with me. You will hear from Haley on a regular basis. And, checking in with me is going to be critical in establishing just a basic way of communicating with me in case you have a problem. We don't have to email back all of the time. That's not part of this. What's part of this is doing games, but you should email me once just so you know how to do it, because you will have questions and I want to be able to email to answer those questions. If you are one of the younger students in this class, you should definitely check with your parents about their internet use policy and their policy in using email. We do, parents who are tuned in right now, we do copy teachers on all emails we exchange with students just so everybody knows what's going on and we keep on the same page about the projects. Emails will not be flying here, but just a basic point of contact and technical details being shared that we wouldn't maybe want to send group emails about, like the thing I just said about the Unity version, a point-to-point email to figure out what version you're on is the kind of thing I'd like to be able to do from now. So if you have any concerns or questions, just definitely let me know. Otherwise, just touch base and let me know you're ready to work on the game. And if you have any questions, you can definitely let me know in that email. Cool. Well, it's a little after 8, and that means my time is about up on this broadcast. I don't have any more video games for you today, but I will have some next week, as well as some Unity stuff for us all to do. We'll use at least an hour going over Unity setup for your projects, and hopefully we'll get into some implementation stuff. I also hope to bring you some guest broadcasters. We may see Dan. If anybody has seen Dan at this studio, he may return. He's our intrepid Unity engineer who designs a lot of our frameworks and is a fantastic Unity teacher. The Eline Media team is also watching, and I'm hoping to get a real developer in here to answer your questions about what it's like to work in a game studio. Stay tuned for more on that. We'll see what happens. But for now, I think I'm going to sign off. You can always reach out to me. As always, I'm here to answer your questions. Obviously, I'm not traveling or really going outside, so just know that I'm here. Video game design is absolutely happening, and I continue to be incredibly excited to you guys. So talk to me about Unity. Talk to Haley about your questions or concerns, passwords, stuff like that, or talk to me about that, and we'll fix whatever's an issue. Otherwise, thank you for tuning in to Video Game Design at You Code It. This video will be available on YouTube if you would like to rewatch it, or in case anybody missed this broadcast and wants to watch it. So you can check that out. We will potentially be sharing videos on there in the future that are tutorials, but for now, just these broadcasts will be available. So, all right, guys. Thank you so much for joining in. Thanks for being there in the chat. It was great to see Christian and Francis commenting in there, as well as Haley's intrepid role as our moderator. Haley, thank you so much for being here. I hope I didn't freak you guys out too much with my doll's house. All right, so this is Natalie, and I will be signing off. I will be on email and here next week at 7 o'clock. Tune in on Twitch.